In this video, now we're going to learn how to subtract linear expressions. And to subtract linear expressions, we're going to, again, subtract the like terms in each expression. Very much like adding linear expressions together, we're going to find the like terms in each expression and then combine them or subtract them. But we do have to take care here, because when it comes to subtraction, things get just a little bit trickier. We have to be very careful with our signs and the operations within the parentheses. So this warning box that I have here is something you really need to remember, and that is that subtraction outside of parentheses means you are subtracting every term inside the parentheses. It does not just apply to the first term in the parentheses. It means you're subtracting everything. So I give an example here of 5x plus 4 minus 3x plus 2. So if you'll follow the red arrow there, my 5x and my 3x are like terms. And that subtraction applies to the 3x. So it's 5x minus 3x, and that's what I have written, 5x minus 3x. And then that subtraction also applies to the constants in each expression. So I have like a plus 4 or a positive 4 minus 2. That's in the blue. So it's a plus 4 minus 2 or a positive 4 minus 2. And then when I simplify and combine those terms, 5x minus 3x is 2x, and a positive 4 minus 2 is a positive 2, so it ends up being plus 2, and 2x plus 2 is my result. Here's another example of subtracting expressions here. Here, these should be in parentheses. Sorry about that. And I have negative 4x minus a negative x. So if you'll follow the red trail there, that's what I get here. This is a negative 4x here minus a negative x, and that's what I have copied down here. And then when it comes to my constants in blue, this is a negative 6 minus a negative 3, and that's what I have copied down right there. So lots of negatives and lots of signs that we can easily get confused if we don't follow them and copy them down correctly. I would highly recommend writing them together like this rather than trying to do all of that in your head. So now let's deal with what we have here. Again, we've got double signs going on, and I don't really care for these double signs, so I rewrote that minus a negative as plus. And I did the same thing right here, minus a negative as plus. And then I could simplify this a little bit better. Negative 4x plus x is negative 3x. And then negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So that ends up being minus 3. And that's how we get our simplified result, negative 3x minus 3. So that example right there is an example of some of the worst conditions you're going to have, where everything is negative and you've got subtraction. There are no plus signs or positive numbers in this expression at all. So that is the worst it's going to get. So let's take a look at some examples of subtracting these just to get the hang of doing this. So again, practice makes perfect with these. So let's take a look here at our x terms, 7x minus 2x. So I'm going to write that down, 7x minus 2x. And then when it comes to my constants, this is like a minus 5 or negative 5 minus a negative 1. That sign in front tells me how I'm going to deal with those numbers. Now again, I've got double signs right here. So this is going to be, if I simplify these, I've got 5x minus 5 plus 1. And that negative 5 plus 1 is like a negative 4. So 5x minus 4. Always pay attention to that sign in front. That tells you how to deal with your constants or your terms. Again, that's what we've been talking about the last few lessons. Next one, 6x minus 4 minus 2x minus 4. And we are subtracting these. So again, I'm looking at my x term, 6x minus 2x. Copy that down. And then my constants, negative 4 or minus 4 minus a negative 4. Again, double sign here. This is like negative 4 plus 4. So those are essentially going to cancel each other out. I'm taking away exactly what I have. So my constants actually go to 0, and 6x minus 2x is 4x. So 4x plus 0 or 4x minus 0 is just 4x. And that is simplified. So keep track of those signs and you'll be just fine. A couple more examples here. X minus 5 minus 2x minus 1. X terms again. X minus 2x. That's what I copy down. And my constants, negative 5 minus a negative 1. And again, I deal with that double sign there. That minus a negative is like plus. So that's negative 5 plus 1, which is negative 4. And then x minus 2x is negative 1x, or just negative x minus 4 simplified. Last one, 6m minus a negative 4m. There's a double sign there, so that's like plus 3, positive 3, minus negative 1. And 6m plus 4m is 10m. And 3 minus a negative 1, that's like 3 plus 1, is a positive 4. So plus 4, 10m plus 4 is the simplified expression there. Next, after working X hours on Monday, Kay earns 9X dollars. On Tuesday, she earns 7X plus $3. Write an expression to represent how much more she earned on Monday. So she earned more money on Monday, and we want to know how much more. Well, this is indicating subtraction. So I'm going to be subtracting these two terms, what she made on Monday minus what she made on Tuesday, should tell me how much more she earned. Here, we have to be careful in this situation because this is an expression that will cause a lot of error. Now, there is no constant in the first expression, so we might be tempted to just take 9x minus 7x, which is 2x, and then just tack on the plus 3. Now, that isn't the case because this subtraction does apply to that 3 as well. So here's how we should think of this. This is like 9x plus 0. There is no constant there. Minus 7x plus 3. So that 0 is kind of a placeholder for my constant, and that is going to help me get the right answer here. So watch and see what happens when I do that. So now I have 9x minus 7x. And I have 0 minus 3. So now that changes things, doesn't it? It is not going to be a positive 3. 0 minus 3 is negative 3, and 9x minus 7x is 2x. So this actually becomes 2x minus 3, not 2x plus 3. So always make sure you're aware that if you're subtracting, there's subtraction in front of that parentheses. The subtraction applies to both terms there. So that's like nothing, no constant, or 0 minus 3 is going to give you negative 3. So this is the actual expression that tells us how much more she earned on Monday. And then part B, if she worked for 5 hours each day, how much more did she earn on Monday? So here the value of X is 5. So I have 2 times 5 minus 3, which is 10 minus 3, or $7 more on Monday. So be careful with subtraction. Again, lots of areas for error. Just keep track of those signs, rewrite the expressions. Don't try to do it all in your head because you are definitely going to make a mistake if you do that. Write it down and you'll be safe.